as you'd probably want to or wish you could, because he's so interesting and cool. Especially when they kind of pull off his mask or his like potato sack thing, and you see that he's like this.
He's like a pumpkin.
Yeah, this creepy monster kid. It's very off-putting, but I really, really liked it.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Were you aware of this film before we decided to do this?
Yeah, I think it was on Netflix in the past. I don't think it's on there anymore, but I remember seeing it at like the local Red Box that's down the street from my house, and just never felt like watching it. I don't know why, but it just seemed like one of those kind of cheesy, just the look of it. Kind of like a cheesy, straight to DVD, like B-budget movie.
Yeah. That you're going to be like, oh, I shouldn't have wasted my time with this.
Yeah, exactly. But I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. Do you want to do the Swan Facts?
Yeah, we can jump into the Swan Facts.
All right, cool. So most of the kids throughout the movie, or at least the extras, I should say, the extras were actually little people filling in as kids because of the odd shooting schedule. That most of this film was shot at night or like in the middle of the night, and as we all know, kids can't legally shoot in those hours because they're minors. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, you can't really tell from...
No, not at all.
Yeah.
The film is based on an animated short film, also by writer-director Michael Daughtry, called Season's Greetings. It's actually from a few years before this film was even made. But that short film actually debuted the character of Sam, so that's where Sam got his real start.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Most of the carved pumpkins on the set were made of styrofoam or ceramic. And I guess like the running joke on the set of the film was no pumpkins were harmed in the making of this film.
That's pretty good.
You can see characters, as we said, from different stories throughout the film, and Warner Brothers chose to release this straight to video because of the fear of failing to perform at the box office because of the Saw franchise, which then at that time pretty much dominated the Halloween arena. So yeah, therein lies the problem. They were scared of competing against torture porn because that's what horror is to a lot of people now. Like we've said before, I feel like not to discredit James Wan because he's awesome, he's incredible, but they started him and James or Lee Winnell started kind of like the torture porn thing with the original Saw,
Yeah, I've only seen the first two Saws.
Really?
Yeah, I know there's like 6 of them, right?
I think it's 7, and then the new one is 8.
God, jeez, I'm behind. Oh man, that's a lot.
Yeah, and that's the end of my Swan Facts. So I wanted to do something a little different to get in the spooky mood.
Spooky. Spooky.
Yeah, like I was telling you last night, or for a couple weeks, I think I want to do some ghost stories. And since it's a shame we weren't able to get any guests on, I couldn't even get you to come down. But so my question for you, my good man, do you have any paranormal stories that have happened to you personally or in your family or anything that you think is worth telling? since we pretty much blasted through our thoughts on the movie, unless you had something to say about the movie before we move on.
There's a couple little points on the movie that I wanted to bring up. There was, what was it? The 3 kids, or the 4 kids that are going around collecting the jack-o'-lanterns?
Yes.
And they go to some lady's house, so they know her because they call her by her name. And you find you find out that I guess it's the school faculty or something, and they're all drunk in the house having some type of like orgy or something. I thought that was actually really funny.
Yeah,
he's like I saw Coach Smith like butt fucking a pig or something. He's like, he was dressed up as a hot dog.
Yeah, and when they kind of like peek in the door and you just see the in the background of the house.
Yeah, you can hear like moaning. They're like, oh.
And then she's like, "You kids," doesn't she offer them something crazy like alcohol?
Like, you kids want a drink? I won't tell it. I won't tell. Oh man, that was pretty funny. I really liked the kind of the twist at the end of the bus, kind of the bus story with the kids.
Yeah, that's another very, very strong story. When just the monologue and how they shot when the kid gets free and he gets in the driver's seat. Well, I guess let's give him a little exposition on what the story is. So basically, this kid is telling these other kids the story about these basically special ed kids a long time ago that were taken on a bus and driven across town to go to a special school because the parents were so ashamed of them. And one day around Halloween time, the kids paid the bus driver to basically take them to a quarry and dispose of them and make it look like an accident, is what I gather from it. And what happens is one of the kids ends up breaks free because they're all chained down, which is fucked up.
Yeah.
The way that they show that. But anyway, he gets free and he's like, no, there's something wrong. I want to go home. And he jumps in the driver's seat while the driver is in the back giving all the kids a piece of candy before he sends them to their demise, or at least that was what was supposed to happen. So anyway, the kid jumps in the driver's seat and he figures out how to basically put his foot on the acceleration, and he puts it in drive, and he says, I want to go home. And of course he's a kid and he doesn't know how to drive, so they go forward off the quarry cliff, and it's very haunting the way that they shot that.
Yeah.
Because it goes quiet and you just see the bus just fall off, and then the camera kind of follows the aftermath over the cliff. I think it's like a crane shot, and then they show you down that the bus is sinking. And like you said, the driver, even though they say that he was never heard from again, survived. And the twist that you're talking about is the conclusion of the film. There's this guy. Well, he comes out throughout the film, but is an older gentleman with a dog, and he's very much like a Scrooge character. Yeah. He fucking hates Halloween. He probably hates everybody just in general. And he starts getting fucked with by the end of the film, and Sam attacks him too, the mascot of the movie. And you're kind of wondering why, like, yeah, this guy's an asshole, but why does he deserve this? And then it's revealed that he, in fact, was the bus driver. Yeah,
because he was, I think before he gets attacked, it shows him throwing old photos from, like, a shoebox or something into his fireplace.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it shows him with, when he's younger, with the kids in front of the school bus.
Yeah, and you get to see the infamous masks.
Yeah.
Like there's like a paper sack boy and a kind of a Dracula figure, but they're all very distinct masks. And when when the bus goes over and you see that the driver survived, you see all the masks. The kids don't come up because they were all chained down.
Yeah.
But their masks float up to the surface, which is also like a haunting thing that I really liked.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Thanks for bringing that up, man. That made this much better already.
That was just one of the stories that I really liked. But do you have any ghost stories? I can't really too many to. I mean, you don't really have too many to. Just from like what people have told me or stuff like that. But
with that being said, are you a non-believer? Do you believe that ghosts don't exist in real life?
Oh, I definitely believe in ghosts, but I mean I that's something I guess a lot of people want to believe in. If there's something else after you pass on.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean I believe in ghosts. I mean, do you believe in ghosts, Swan?
I definitely do. I think a lot of the stuff that we see in films, maybe not to the extent like poltergeist and things like that. Yeah, they all do exist. I don't think that everybody experiences them. I think there's something that we're missing, like a missing element, at least like in the afterlife or between the afterlife and in our reality, that we're missing, that make these things kind of appear or become apparent. But there's too many stories out there that say that everybody's just like making
like, oh, you're just imagining. Yeah,
there's too many documents and things. I don't know. It's hard to be a skeptic when there's so much evidence and things that happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can't be just some grand conspiracy or everybody's nuts. I don't know. But I do have a few ghost stories.
Oh, nice. You wanna maybe tell a couple of them, or one or two of them?
Yeah, I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me think. What's a good one? So I wanted to interview for us to interview my grandmother, because she has some stories, man, and she's very charismatic. You've met her before.
Yeah.
And she can tell a story like no other, man. But unfortunately, she said she was going to be uncomfortable and she didn't want to be on the radio and stuff. So I had to respect that, I guess.
Yeah.
But she didn't tell me I can't tell her stories for her.
Okay.
So yeah, my grandmother, Dolores is her name. She's originally from the Midwest, right? Illinois.
Okay.
Area. And so when she was young, I think in her mid-20s, she lived in, I think it was like a two-story house at the time, and nobody was home. And I guess she claims that nobody was home, and that she heard on the top story. She was on the bottom floor, and she could hear heavy boots walking across the floor up on the top, and she got super scared and kind of walked over to where the stairwell was, and she heard them getting louder and louder and louder, and until it almost sounded like it was coming down the stairwell towards her.
Oh shit.
And she says she swears if she would have stayed there and not ran out, because she ultimately got so scared that she ran out of the house, she claims that there was like a full-bodied apparition.
Oh.
Yeah, in her place at the time, but that when they came back, there was nothing. Yeah, my grandmother's a interesting very, very interesting woman. Another person